Hi, this is Cristina.
And Carmen.
And this is another episode of Espooky Tales, a podcast for all things spooky, true crime, scary. Ooh, yeah. That was supposed to be like a scary ooh, but I think it was more like a ooh, like an interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah, my bad. Wrong type of ooh.
Can't help how you are.
Yeah, that's very true. Today we have a... Did you finish the notes or did you do...
I did.
Oh, okay. Well, we have a UFO story, which it has been a while.
It has.
Those are some of my favorite. And I have a true crime case. It's a very old one, so it's not a lot of information on it, but it makes you think. So before we get to all that, we do have a listener story. And if you have a story that you want to send us to read on an episode, you can email us spookytales@gmail.com. You can DM us on any of our socials. You can submit it on Discord like this listener did. You can also call the Espooky hotline. The number is in the show notes. There's a lot of ways to get it to us. And whatever way you choose, we will find it, we will read it, and we love receiving them. So yeah.
Okay. So this is from Running on Coffee on our Discord, which is just one of the ways you can submit your scary story to us. So it goes, I want to share more of a chisme, not so spooky, but yesterday I was at my mom's house visiting to celebrate my younger brother's birthday. My mom and I were talking about if she ever found out who were her niece's parents, and then in parentheses, one of her parents.
Wait, I'm confused.
I don't know. They're going to explain more, so let's just keep reading.
Okay.
But the way I saw it, I was like, okay, is she saying that if one of her mom's parents are also her niece's parents?
And the niece is her mom's niece?
Yes.
Okay. That's where I was confused. I was like, is it Running on Coffee's niece or the mom's niece?
Mom's niece.
And so implying this is a child out of wedlock.
Yeah.
Who's actually a sister, not a niece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that's where it's going. But
okay.
It goes on. Okay, so backtracking. My sister did a 23andMe test, and through that, she found out we had a cousin from my mom's side that was adopted. She reached out to my sister through Facebook. We found this out last Christmas. So going back to yesterday, I had asked if she ever found out who had a daughter and had given her up for adoption. She currently lives in Guadalajara.
Shout out.
I was waiting for you to say that. And she wanted to know who her parents and family were. Needless to say, we still don't know, and supposedly my uncle, the only boy in the family, was told he couldn't have kids. I don't know what this reason is or what. This was told to my grandma about my uncle. My grandma passed away years ago, and my mom had her picture up for the ofrenda she had for her. So we were in the middle of this conversation, and her picture fell over. There was no open door or window. No one was nearby, and I just turned and said, Abuelita, si estás aquí, no estamos hablando mal de ti, mal de nadie, nomás queremos saber de quién es mi prima.
Wow.
My mom was like, ¿qué? Oh, I guess I should translate that. So after the picture fell, Running on Coffee turned around to the picture and said, Grandma, I know you're here. We're not talking bad about anybody. We're just wondering who my cousin's parents are. And then Running on Coffee's mom was like, ¿qué? I told her my grandma's picture fell over. She's here listening, and she probably knows who her parents are, the prima or niece.
Yeah.
I can tell my mom kind of got sad. I know she misses her mom a lot. I love my abuelita and miss her too. Just thought I would share a bit of a wholesome story, and I believe they know they're still loved and missed. Cute.
Oh, that is cute. Thank you so much for sending that in. Oh, yeah. Also, I'm dead inside. No. I'm sick again, so.
Yeah. Okay, so now on to the UFO story. On May 3rd, 1975, 23-year-old Mexican pilot Carlos de Los Santos was en route from Zihuatanejo, Guerrero to Mexico City in a plane called, or the type of plane was a Piper PA-24.
Exactly. Now that you said that, I know exactly what plane that is.
Okay. Yeah. It's a small plane, though. I did see pictures.
I didn't know.
Yeah. He was flying this plane when he was confronted with UFOs. At the time, Carlos had 370 flight hours, and he worked for a aerial company. That's what airplane companies are called, right? Like, he worked for a company flying planes, maybe aviation. That sounds better. I typed aerial ? And then I was gonna look it up, and then I forgot. So
of course,
yeah, aviation company called Pelletier. So Carlos' father was an air technician, so possible Nepo baby. Anyway, the typical route he had to take was covered with clouds and bad weather. So se desvió, and he flew 10,000 feet in altitude and took another route called G3. But there was still too much cloud coverage and bad weather. So he flew even higher to 15,000 feet. And he flew over the city of Tequesquitengo at 12:30.
That's not how you said it the first time. Is this the same one?
Tequesquitengo. Oh, it's a different city.
Oh, it's a different city.
Yeah. He flew out of Zihuatanejo, and on his journey, he was flying over Tequesquitengo. That's where we're at. He was flying over there.
Okay.
Over that
Sorry,
town.
I was a little lost.
Yeah.
My brain is working less than normal right now. I'm sick again. So yeah.
So at 12:30 p.m., he was flying over the city, and this was about an hour later than normal because of the bad weather. Soon, Carlos saw an unidentified object about 20 centimeters from his plane, which is very close.
A little too close.
A little too close for our comfort,
bubble.
you could say. Yeah. He had a sense of bewilderment and strangeness. He's like, what the fuck? And then a second unidentified object appeared about 20 centimeters away from the other side of his plane.
20 centimeters away.
Yeah. So on
now they're
the
both
right
20
and the
centimeters.
left.
So now they're both too close.
Yeah. So on both sides of his plane, they're too close.
Okay.
And so now he's even more like, what the fuck? And if that wasn't enough, a third unidentified object came flying at him at an impossible speed. And
this one ended up 20 centimeters in front of him.
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
So shut the fuck up. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
So it flew towards him at an impossible speed. He was scared that it was going to hit him. And then it was like his plane was here, right? And then it was like, right, coming fast. And then he thought it stopped. Sorry, it stopped abruptly, like in front of him, and then it flew under.
Okay.
So that's where it stayed under him. Yeah.
Under him. 20 centimeters under him. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I don't know the exact measurements, but it was under him.
Oh, if the rest were 20 centimeters, why not?
Yeah. So actually, he felt an impact, and he got so scared that he started shaking and crying, falling to his knees at Walmart,
throwing up, screaming. Yeah,
yes,
I would have too.
All of that. So then he called for help, and he was
after he was done throwing up.
Yeah. He was still crying. And so he's like, a Centro Mexico, esto es Extra Alpha Unión, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. But he received no response. So he tried again, and he finally received a response asking what the emergency was. So he replied, estoy volando con 3 objetos visuales no identificados a mi alrededor. Estoy llorando. Estoy muy nervioso. No sé qué hacer. Okay, so he said, I'm flying with 3 unidentified objects surrounding me. I'm crying. I'm nervous. I don't know what to do. And unfortunately, Carlos didn't get a response from Centro de Mexico.
Are you serious? They just fucking ignored him?
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't working.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't know that.
No, of course.
Yeah. He thought that maybe they thought he was lying, and that's why they were just ignoring him. Like he thought like maybe they think this is a joke.
That's messed up.
Yeah. So then Carlos decided to land, thinking that he could lose the unidentified objects that way, but he was unable to land. And the article explained, like, technically, but I don't know what it said. Something about the stuff wasn't working, like, to land, you know?
Oh, like his landing.
Yeah, the gear, the little feet that come out of the plane.
The feet that
come out of the plane, that wasn't working.
Little tiny wheels.
Yeah, it wasn't working. So he thinks that the plane, because he felt an impact, remember? So he thinks the unidentified object was like mano a mano with this plane.
No, like right underneath, like closer than 20 centimeters.
Yeah, like touching it,
which is already very close,
like blocking it. Yeah.
Oh no.
Then he tried to make a turn to lose the UFOs, but he found that he had no control over the plane. So this made him think that these unidentified objects were controlling the plane. And he tried calling for help again, but his radio wasn't working. Then his plane started flying higher and higher, increasing 15 to 20 feet per second, which is obviously not possible.
So he's trying to land, but he's going up.
Yeah, so he's trying to land, not working. Then he's trying to turn, to shake these UFOs, not working. Instead, he's going up, out of his own will, he's going up 15 to 20 feet per second.
Wow.
And so he's hella worried, right, at this point, because his plane is not built for that altitude. So he was followed, or more like escorted, because the UFOs were controlling his plane. So he was escorted onward for 18 minutes.
Too long.
Yeah, a little too long. Much too long for anyone's liking. And then as he was flying over the Sierra de la Jusco, suddenly the unidentified objects veered a different way towards some volcanoes, and they didn't come back. So they were like done with him.
Oh.
And he was still shaken up, but he had control over his plane. And shortly after the UFOs left him, the 2 radars at the International Benito Juárez Airport captured 3 unidentified objects taken off from his plane and maneuvering in impossible ways. So they detected this, the radars. So Carlos' experience hit the news, and he was invited to go on TV to talk about his experience with the Omnis. And while he was on his way, 2 limousine-looking cars surrounded Carlos, like one in front of him and one behind him. You know,
20 centimeters away.
No, I don't know. Right in front of him, like forcing him to come to a stop. Could have been 20 centimeters. I don't know. Weird. So they forced him to stop, and then 4 broad-shouldered Scandinavian-looking men in black suits got out of the 2 cars.
These fuckers are always Scandinavian looking.
Right? Yeah.
What is up with that?
I don't know. And so one of them approached his car and told them in fast robotic Spanish. I can't talk in fast robotic Spanish though, so, you know, I'll try my best. Anyway, he said, "Mira muchacho." Nah, that's not.
That was too
I was trying to talk
too
fast.
Dramatic. Mira muchacho. That's what you did.
It was sounding like the Cuban dad from the George Lopez show. Okay, he said in, again, fast robotic Spanish that I can't replicate. "Mira muchacho, si aprecias tu vida y la de tu familia, no hables más de lo que viste." Or, "Young man, if you value your life and your family's lives, then you'll stop talking about what you saw."
Damn. Are these aliens or men in black?
Well, Cristina, they were 4 men in black. So
yeah, but the
me.
Scandinavian part is making me think aliens, because they're always described.
That's
like,
true.
If you remember,
yeah, I remember
the Zona de Silencio episode, or literally any episode we talked about aliens in Mexico. Anyone who sees them, they're always blonde, pale, blue-eyed. So
yeah, who knows? Yeah. So the men got in their cars and drove away, and Carlos was spooked enough to turn around and go back home.
He didn't do his radio show or TV show, whatever he was gonna do.
Yeah, he was gonna go on TV. But 2 days later, he did end up sharing his story with the host of the show that he was going to go on, but not like live. He just told him about it.
Okay.
And the host of the show, his name was Pedro Ferriz, and he was also a UFO enthusiast. So Pedro told Carlos about the men in black. And he's like, "I've heard of these men in black, and people who have experiences with the Omnis, they're often visited by these men in black and threatened by them. But I've never heard of anyone actually being harmed by them." So then Pedro convinced Carlos to tell a story on TV.
Oh.
So he did.
Okay.
And nothing happened.
But
then
that's good. Oh. Oh my God.
But yeah, a month later, when Carlos was on his way to meet with Dr. J. Allen Hynek, a ufologist. I don't know, there's another way to say it, but in Spanish it said, actually I forgot what it said because I wrote ufologista.
Stop. Just kidding.
Anyway, alien nerd and astronomer. He met with him to talk about the UFO experience. And so they did. They chatted. And then the next day, they agreed to have breakfast. So then the next day, Carlos went back to the hotel to have breakfast with Dr. Hynek. And as he was on his way up on the escalator, he was stopped by men in black. Oh. And they once again threatened him to stop talking about his UFO experience. And this time they actually pushed him, like they shoved him a little bit.
No, not a push.
So they shoved him.
Oh my God.
And they're like, "We know you left your house at 6 a.m. and we know where you work." And they said the place that he works, but I didn't write it down. And Carlos was scared. He was scared and he left without meeting with Dr. Hynek.
He's like, "Last time we had words. This time we're pushing you. Next time we're gonna punch you."
We're gonna come back a month from now and we're gonna punch you. And then the next month, who knows what we'll do.
No, but I would be scared, but it's just funny that this time they pushed him. Like,
it's escalating.
Slowly.
Wow, he was on the escalator. Dumb. So Carlos went on to continue his career as a pilot, and he was glad that the radar had caught the UFO's motion, because if not, his reputation he would have been done for, right? But the radar corroborated what he experienced. And the article even had pictures of him as a older man with grown adult kids. So he went on to have a good life. And I don't think he was ever visited by the Men in Black again.
He stopped talking about it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, good for him that they didn't escalate after pushing him.
Right.
Well, on that note, we'll take a little ad break here and thank our Patreon members. So let's give a quick shout out to our newest Patreon member, Fred, who just became a member of the No Mames Super Serious Espooky. I still have to send your keychain out, but I will, I promise. And a shout out to the rest of our members: Amberine, Rosario, Avery, Lisandro, Robin, Orion, Wesley and Leslie, Leslie and Wesley, Jessica, Esquivel A, Alec, Ilse, Bearded Ghoul, Corinna, Manir Mal, Hillary, Archer, Marlene, Patricia, Marilyn, Lupe, Jorge, Anastasia, Linda, Juan, Clarissa, Becky, La Madre del Pozole, Angel Hellfire, Gerson, Alejandro, Lainey, Something Rather Than Nothing Podcast, Chata, Cristina, A Nightmare on Fear Street, Mari, Desiree, Sonia, Liliana, Nacho Mama, Nelly, Alex and Aziel, Maribel and Malia, Ashes, Anne, Janie, Michelle, Modesto, Perla, Jasenia, Pelon, our cousin Martin, Edie's, Ghost Train, and Madtown Charity. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. Your support means the world to us. And we're back. Okay, like I said before the break, I'm sorry if I sound more congested. This is actually, I'm gonna get on my own nerves. Oh my god. Wow. Ugh, disgusting. Carmen, stop making a face at me.
I'm sorry. Okay.
You're making it worse.
It's not gonna bother me at all that you sound like this.
You're lying to me. All right. So the case I'm talking about today, there's not a lot of information on it because it's so old. It's from like the 1940s, 1950s in Mexico, but we'll just jump right into it. On April 8th, 1941, Francisco Paez, owner of a grocery store in La Calle Salamanca in the Roma neighborhood of Ciudad Mexico, got to his shop like he normally did. He was, opening the sink or something, turning on the sink, and it was all clogged up. And so he called the plumber. And the plumber ended up having to open up a hole, to get to the plumbing, the tubes. I don't know. Those technical terms that we don't know.
Technical sink terms.
Yes. So he had to open up, a hole. And then when he finally opened up the plumbing, tubes, pipes.
Yeah.
Pipes. Thank you. I need to stop calling everything
tubes.
A tube. Yes. Okay. So, when they finally opened up the pipe, they were both shocked and surprised, scared, lots of emotions, because inside the pipes there was human flesh. That's what was causing the backup. That's why it was getting clogged up. And the plumber, he was clearing this clogging. He's pulling and just more flesh. And then the skull of a baby. Trigger warning, this case involves babies. I'm so sorry. I should have said that.
Oh my God. Yeah, you should have.
My bad. Yes, trigger warning. This does involve babies. And so they're pulling out flesh, and then suddenly a skull of a baby, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, what is happening?" This uncovered one of the most shocking cases up to that date in Mexico. Behind all of it, one woman. Her name was Felicitas Sanchez Aguilon, who became known as the Ogra of Roma.
Wow.
Among other names. But that's the most well-known name, though.
Oh, there's more?
Yeah.
Oh.
So Felicitas Sanchez Aguilon was born in 1890 in the pueblo of Cerro Azul in Veracruz, Mexico. She had a very rough life from the beginning. Her mom was abusive, and she made it clear that that Felicitas was not a wanted child, because she literally told her that.
Oh my God.
Fucked up. She often told her that she didn't love her and beat her regularly. Since her childhood, Felicitas did things like poison the street dogs and cats. Very disturbed things.
Not part of the trifecta.
Yeah, right.
Oh, no.
And she grew into someone with a terrible but strong personality.
Okay.
During the 1900s, she studied nursing, graduated. She met Carlos Donde, who would become her husband. He is a man described as weak with no backbone.
Not what she needed in her life, but probably what she wanted.
Right. She got pregnant and had twins, but she didn't want them. She convinced her husband to give them up for adoption.
Well, okay.
And he agreed.
It's the right thing to do.
Right. When you don't want a child, you think you can. Yeah.
Of course, obviously.
Right. Because, they get to live. So he agreed. But then a few days later, he changed his mind.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was coming already. Okay. Wow.
No. They were given up for adoption, and then he wanted them back. He changed his mind. But then she went and told them where they were, who adopted them, nothing. But presumably they're alive and they've lived full lives. Like they didn't die. She didn't kill them. And so because she wouldn't give up where they were, they divorced. This caused a little rift in the marriage.
Wow.
Understandably so. So they didn't make it as a couple. Not surprising.
Probably for the best.
Yeah. So they divorced in 1910, and later that year, Felicitas moved to Ciudad Mexico. And once she was all settled in Ciudad Mexico and began working as a nurse, somehow she got involved in trafficking children. Somehow. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that happened. I couldn't find that information.
As a nurse, probably.
Right. I'm assuming she met the mothers that came to her.
God.
As a nurse. And so then she would find couples who were looking to adopt, and then she would sell them these infants. This was going so well for her that she was able to afford a better apartment in the Roma neighborhood of Ciudad Mexico. So she moved into Departamento 9 in Calle Salamanca on the 3rd floor. And she shared this apartment with another woman. But that other woman was only there to sleep, so she didn't really care what Felicitas was up to, what she was doing. She was just there to sleep. That's it. She was gone all day. So in this apartment, Felicitas started a business to help women give birth and or stop pregnancy.
Okay.
Yeah, she practiced abortions. And more and more women, usually rich women with, a lot of money, were her clients. And more began to seek her help. Neighbors started getting suspicious. Felicitas was actually arrested at least twice for practicing illegal adoptions out of this building, out of her apartment.
But abortions or adoptions?
Adoptions.
Oh, okay.
I guess maybe they couldn't pin the abortions on her. They were illegal. But this was for the adoptions.
Okay.
Because she was still doing that too. And she never stayed in prison. She always met her bail because her business was booming.
I mean, she was a baller.
Yeah. So this is where it gets very dark and twisted because they say that when she could not sell the newborns that the moms didn't want, then she would murder the babies.
Oh no.
By stabbing them and then flushing them down the pipes, which is why they would get all clogged up, or dismembering them before flushing them down. But also poison. But I'm like, why would you don't need to poison a newborn.
I mean, you don't need to kill them at all, but
no, you don't need to kill them at all.
But in that manner, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, all of it was kind of horrible. Not kind of, a lot.
Yeah. So they said that when she didn't do those other things, she poisoned them or strangled them to death. And she was able to do this because she counted on the discretion of one plumber, not plumber, my bad. We don't say the B. I know how to speak English.
I know.
She counted on the discretion of one plumber who helped her clear the pipes. I was going to say tubing again. Oh my God.
I know. I heard it forming in your mouth.
Yeah. Before anything could be uncovered. So neighbors would notice oh my God, everything's backed up again. But then he would come in and clear it so no one else would come in and find out what was happening.
Yeah.
Except that day, April 8th, when the guy called a different plumber and then it was all uncovered. So on that day, police had already talked to neighbors and everyone's like, well, we know she's doing something up there. So they went up to her apartment building, knocked, the roommate let them in. And so they started looking around. Her room shocked them because apparently on her dresser there were black candles everywhere, baby clothes, needles, a skull just sitting on her dresser.
What the fuck?
Why?
What?
And then a ton of baby pictures.
So she would take pictures of them? After she like killed them or like alive? Like, were these like mementos? Like, what is this?
I don't know. It was like never explained further than this.
Yuck.
So yeah, I don't know. It makes you ponder. Like, why?
Yep.
But Felicitas wasn't there at the apartment at the time of them searching. So then neighbors told her she has another clinic where she does things like this too. It's called La Quebrada, which is actually now a bar.
Oh my
Different
God.
name though. Although La Quebrada, good name for a bar, I think.
Oh, okay. When she had it, it wasn't named this.
No, that's what they called it. I don't think she called it that, but everyone knew it as La Quebrada when it was her clinic. Yeah.
And the bar has a different name now.
Yes, but the building is still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But she wasn't there either. So now there was a manhunt for her. And 3 days later, she was found and arrested, along with the plumber that was helping her get away with all this.
Where were they?
Salvador Martinez.
Not the name Salvador.
Yeah. And her husband.
A different husband?
Yeah, second husband, Alberto Beto Sanchez Rebollar. And when she was arrested, she told investigators, "Yes, I helped any women who came to me, and when I was done with my abortion services, I flushed the remains down the bathroom." She truly believed that she was doing nothing wrong. She was just helping. And so
these were not fetuses. These were babies, right?
That's where I get confused because, Mexico is very...
Do they name it? Are they using these interchangeably?
That's what I'm wondering so we'll get into it, but she maintains she was doing just abortions and then delivering.
Sorry, go ahead.
And or delivering babies. And when the babies were stillborn, if they didn't cry after an hour is when she flushed them down.
Okay, but what about the poisoning? Is there actual evidence of that?
No, there's no evidence of poisoning.
So that's like just like a rumor that got out of hand?
Yes. Yeah, the poisoning. So she maintains she was helping women.
Wow.
And this was just an abortion clinic. And part of me, let me finish the case and then we'll talk about it. Because okay, so she truly believed she was doing good, but newspapers, neighbors, they all demonized her. In her cell, she cried all day. When she wasn't crying, she was screaming, let me out, I don't deserve to be here. Her lawyer told her she needed to give up her clients for a lighter sentence, and she did it. Among her clients were the daughters of Ciudad Mexico's elite, the daughters and wives of Ciudad Mexico's elite.
I'm not shocked because that's common, right? Because like the only people who can afford this are rich people. But like, wow.
So the wives and daughters of politicians. Yeah. The most rich businessmen. Yeah.
Mira nomás.
Yeah. And so then she was released 3 months later. The little evidence other than what people said that was actually brought against her went missing. This was like a little like fetus body part and like a skull in the pipe in the pipes and in the plumbing that they got out. That's what it was used against her. So like the pictures, they're like she could have just had those like the pictures and candles and all the weird things that were on her dresser, like that wasn't evidence.
That's just decoration.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. So that went missing, and so they couldn't use that against her. She ended up being charged with just practicing illegal abortions and then like violating medical responsibility, which at the time weren't serious charges. So she paid her 600 peso bail and she was released. The public was furious. The newspapers printed headlines that read, "La descuartizadora saldrá en libertad."
Wow.
The dismemberer.
I think so.
I don't think that's an actual word, but like it's like saying Jack the Ripper is gonna be released. It will be released. They called her sadistic, serial killer, the strangler, baby killer, the killer of angels. Yeah, they called her all these names, all these horrible things. And although she was free, she knew that her life would never be the same. So on the 16th of July, 1941, she was found dead from suicide in her apartment. She left 3 letters, went to her ex-lawyer, who was ripping her off apparently, went to her current lawyer, and went to her second husband. In these letters, there was no remorse or apology for anything, which shocked the public.
But maybe she felt like she was doing...
Yeah, that's what I think. So the letters mentioned nothing other than to her second lawyer, she talked about unos terrenos and what to do with them.
Not the terrenos.
And then in her letter to her husband, she just said, "Goodbye, Beto. Don Carlos won. I can't do this anymore."
Who's Don Carlos?
Carlos was the name of her first husband.
What does that mean?
But I don't know what it means.
Wow.
Yeah, she said, "Don Carlos ganó. Ya no puedo."
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's it. The case was closed. There was nothing to do.
Wow.
But she's to this day known as like one of the most sadistic serial killers who killed over like 50 babies.
But there's no evidence that.
Again, she maintains this was an abortion clinic and she was helping women, and she didn't kill any babies that were alive. Like if the baby was alive and the mom didn't want it, then she would do her adoption thing, which she had connections to. But then what was being like written about in the public is that, oh, when she couldn't sell the baby, she would kill it. But she maintained that she was innocent. She would do the abortion. After doing the abortion, and some of them were like later term abortions.
Oh, like how late?
Like very pregnant, but not the baby's born and I'm gonna kill it because you don't want it.
Like 7 months?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which would explain the bigger pieces of like body pieces, right? So, I mean, like, all in all, like, at the end of the day, she's remembered as this baby killer. She always maintained, though, that this was an abortion clinic, which is what happens when abortion is
criminalized.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why after I read all this and I listened to an episode where she's like talked about and referred to as this horrible person, but I'm reading it and I'm like, I feel like she was just running an abortion clinic.
I mean, it makes sense for a country that's so pro or anti-choice. What do they call those people? Pro-life. Oh my God, I can't remember.
What do they call them?
I'm like, what are there's a term. I was like, I could only think of pro-choice. But yeah, countries and people that are so pro-life, like regular abortion, they view it like this. So people that have those views, I don't believe them to report accurately on a case like this.
Right. And especially in those times, this was 1941 in Mexico.
Wow.
Like,
this is so wild.
After I read it all, I'm like, I kind of believe her. Like, I don't know how terrible this makes me sound.
Because there's no evidence of the poisoning. What about the stabbing?
No. The only evidence that was found was the clock, like the body pieces that they pulled out of the store when the guy called on that day. And other than that, there's no other evidence of other body pieces or of like babies older than newborns. So I'm like, I don't know.
And there's nothing of the claims that she was killing the babies that couldn't be adopted. Like there's nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she did run the illegal adoption, ring. But it's like, why would she kill babies if she's trying to make money selling them?
Did the women that were her clients ever come forward with anything?
Yeah, their names were made public, but nothing else, like any statements, nothing else came forward. But these are women would be seeking help,
I could see this being demonized and sensationalized. So I think she was just a doctor performing, or nurse, whatever, health worker performing these abortions and helping facilitate adoptions for women who had no other options or choices and could afford this service from her.
That's honestly what I think after reading all this. I don't know. Call me a sympathizer of a baby killer. Oh no, that sounds wrong. But in this case, I honestly believe this was an abortion clinic, and this is what happens when you criminalize it, because then women don't have to wait until the very end when the fetus looks more like a baby, even though it's not a baby yet, right? There's a reason that most abortions are early.
Let us know your thoughts.
Let us know your thoughts, because again, there's no evidence of like anything else other than everything I've said already. But sorry, my children are being loud.
Okay, so
spooky recommendations. Let's take a quick break and then we'll come back with spooky recommendations. And we're back. All right, do you have yours already?
Let me see if I don't remember if I've been keeping track of them or not.
Okay, while you're searching for yours, I'll share mine. I got AMC Plus, which comes with Shudder already, which is where all the scary movies are. I got it so I could watch season 2 of Daryl Dixon and The Ones Who Live, the Rick and Michonne spin-off of The Walking Dead. But on there, because it has Shudder, there's another movie. It's like a anthology series, so it has a bunch of stories within it. You know, it's not one long story.
Yeah.
But it's called. I said it wrong last time. Satanic Hispanics. I think last time I said Hispanics.
I don't even
Satanics.
remember you mentioning it last time.
In our group chat with Lainey and Aiden.
I thought you meant last time, like recording.
No, last time I talked about it on text.
Well, then, yeah, I do remember that.
Okay, so yeah, I finally watched Satanic Hispanics because yeah, it's on Shudder. So it has what is this guy's name? I want to say he's the Vote for Pedro guy.
Oh,
It has Efren Ramirez in it. He gets arrested and then he's being interrogated. And as the police are interrogating him, did you ever watch Heroes?
yeah.
Okay, you remember the cop guy who could, God, what could he do? Tell the future? Read minds?
Like very vaguely.
Okay, well, that guy, he's one of the cops again in this.
Oh.
Anyway, they're interrogating him and he's telling them like these cases that they've never solved, but it's because they're like done by supernatural beings. And so that's how the movies play out. He starts telling the story and then you get into the different like movie. And it has like all the things we hear about on Espooky Tales. And I already forgot. Nahual, there's a Nahual.
Oh, wow.
One, vampires. That one was funny.
Okay.
It is like a horror comedy too. It's not all serious.
I like horror comedies. They're one of my favorite things to watch.
Yeah, they're super fun. And then so yeah, it just goes through like I think it's like 4 or 5 different ones. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like I'm sure because of the stories we tell here and the stories that the movie covers, like our listeners would like it just based on that, because I know a lot of people, I don't know, like to hate on things. Like if you look at the ratings, they're not like great, but
Really?
I don't know, a lot of the movies I like are always like lowly rated anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, it has different directors because each, it has different movies within it or different stories. But Gigi Saul Guerrero, she's done a bunch of other movies. Bingo Hell's one I've talked about before.
Oh.
But she's one of the directors. But yeah, it's so good. Definitely recommend it. Just based on the stories they tell. And some of them are so funny. Like again, the vampire one was one of my favorites, but they're all so good.
Cool.
That's my spooky recommendation.
Okay. I'm just going to share one because I'm starving and you took so long.
Sorry.
So I read a book called Love of My Afterlife, and it's not really like scary, but it's like afterlife, which we talk about sometimes. So it was super cute. Let me just read the synopsis. Okay, here's the description. A recently deceased woman meets the one in the afterlife waiting room, scoring a second chance at life and love if she can find him on Earth before 10 days are up. If she wasn't dead already, Delphi would be dying of embarrassment. Not only did she just die by choking on a microwavable burger, but now she's standing in her shine like a star in 90 in front of the hottest man she's ever seen, and he's smiling at her. As he starts to chat, everything else becomes background noise. That is, until someone comes running out of a door, yelling something about a huge mistake, and sends the dreamy stranger back down to Earth. And here, Delphi was thinking her luck might be different in the afterlife. When Delphi is offered a deal in which she can return to Earth and reconnect with the mysterious man, she jumps at the opportunity to find her possible soulmate and a fresh start. But in a city of millions, Delphi is going to have to listen to her heart, learn to ask for help, and perhaps even see the magic in the life she's leaving behind. And it was...
That sounds cute.
Yeah, it was so cute, but also like profound at times, but also funny at times, and also hot at times because there is, I don't know, can we say sex? I already said it.
I think we're fine. We were literally talking about the dismemberment.
But I don't know how they are. But anyway, there is also that in the book. And it's also like one of those like found family type themes in here. I don't know.
I love a found family story.
Me too. So I don't know. I really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5. Oh, I didn't say the author, but I mean, you'll find it.
What's it called again?
It's called The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood.
Okay,
let's get out of here so I can eat.
Yes. Okay. A quick reminder that our current book club book is now The Witches of El Paso by Luis Jaramillo. It's a little pricey.
It was.
Hindsight,
I didn't know. We
it.
didn't look up the price beforehand or anything, but
No,
yeah, it was
so
kind of pricey. But mine is gonna
request
get
it through your libraries if you can.
if you can. If it's anything like my library, they won't have it.
Yeah.
But I got an email that mine was shipped.
Good. Yeah, use our bookshop link if you're gonna buy it, if you're not, getting it through the library. So yeah, that's the current read. We'll see how long it takes us. The Piñata book club episode is out. If you want to join the book club, get those discussion questions, reply to them, maybe. All that is in the show notes. And yeah, okay. That was my last reminder. I guess, I don't know, don't become a pilot so you don't run into UFOs that are 27 meters away from you. Los Omnis. Yeah. And yeah, stay spooky. We'll catch everyone next time. Bye.
Bye.